to every one of you for the celebrated evening, the launch of WICCI Life Skills. WICCI Life Skills is headed by the National President, Dr. Kuiljeit Uppaal, the world's first embed scientist and genius polymath who's been honored with several awards for excellence in the world of innovation, education, and social impact. She's a Karamveer Chakra awardee. She's been bestowed with the Siksha Bharati Award, the World Innovation Award, Hall of Fame Honor Award 2019, and many more to the list. She is a forerunner in contributing for women fraternity for the development and progress across countries. And in the last 3 decades, it also continues until date, including this forum we are all laureled with. This amazing impact strategist has made India proud in her area. Apart from being an inspirational humanitarian who's been impacting thousands of lives globally. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Kuiljeit Uppaal to share the welcome note. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and Jai Hind. At the very outset, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each one of you on the momentous occasion of the official launch of the WICCI Life Sector. On this occasion, we are extremely privileged to have amidst us prolific and magnificent personalities who have not only been renowned in the areas of expertise that they belong to, or that they have made contributions of humongous magnitude, but more than ever, they're beautiful people whose heart beats for India. And the common denominator between them is contribution. It's my proud privilege to introduce our esteemed guests of honor who have joined us today. Let me start by inviting Dr. Maninder Kaur Dwivedi, IAS Principal Secretary, Rural Industries and GST, Government of Chhattisgarh. Dr. Dwivedi works...
Sorry, it's a pleasure to be here.
Dr. Dwivedi works at developing sustainable public programs impacting the lives and livelihoods of artisans, weavers, women self-help groups, and women-run enterprises, and of course, the marginalized. We are so delighted with your presence, ma'am. Thank you for coming. We're also having with us on this platform, Dr. Bhavani Rao, who is the UNESCO Chair in India for Gender Equality and Women Empowerment. Under the UNESCO Chair, Dr. Bhavani heads an academic center dedicated to research, education, and implementation that focuses on mapping vulnerabilities of women in underserved communities. As the director of Amachi Labs in Kerala, she heads the R&D that focuses on human-computer interaction, robotics and automation technologies for education, skill development, disaster response, medical assistance, and rehabilitation. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Bhavani. Our third esteemed guest of honor is Dr. Jitender Nagpal, a renowned psychiatrist with special focus on child, adolescent, and women problems. Dr. Nagpal is a senior consultant psychiatrist and in charge, Institute of Mental Health and Life Skills Promotion with Moolchand MedCity in New Delhi. He's also the program director of Expressions India, the National Life Skills Community and School Wellness Program. Dr. Nagpal has been in the services planning, training groups, and on board of many communities and committees under the Ministry of HRD, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Social Justice, CBSE, NCERT, and UGC. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal, for joining us.
Very good afternoon. Thank you so much, Dr. Kuiljeit. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Thank you. As WICCI National President of the Life Skills Sector, I would like to thank each one of you for your benign presence and for having taken the time out to grace the occasion of the official launch of the WICCI Life Skills Council. Before we begin the panel discussion, I'd like to say a few words on the Life Skills Council and our vision and mission. The Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, more popularly known as WICCI, is a premier all-India national women's chamber empowering women entrepreneurs, leaders, and professionals in all walks of life through advocacy and proactive representations to government by implementing projects for women via various government agencies and corporates, plus bringing awareness on all issues that concern women in their workplace. WICCI aims to bring about fundamental changes in government policies, laws, and incentives with a view to robustly create an ecosystem that can encourage and empower women in business, industry, and commerce across all sectors and fields. Life skills, as we all know, is an extremely important set of skills for every person, even more so in today's dynamic times. And we, as the WICCI Life Skills Council, are very motivated to make a huge difference in this area. Our vision is to create a powerful and enriching ecosystem of life skills for the nation that builds the psychosocial, interpersonal, and affective capacity of an individual in multiple areas to develop coping mechanisms and self management skills that can effectively combat challenges and help individuals evolve towards self empowerment and success as professionals in business, industry, and commerce across all sectors and fields. We have an 8-point mission that encapsulates creating the awareness and relevance of the 10 life skills as formalized by UNICEF, UNESCO, and WHO, which include problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, effective communication skills, decision making, interpersonal relationship skills, self awareness, empathy, and coping with stress and emotions. Secondly, the Council plans to delve deep into R&D and research and create iterative models and systems for implementation of knowledge dissemination to the target group as well as for the policy creation. The Council also plans to engage with business units, entrepreneurship institutions, and startup incubators, corporate houses, higher education establishments, and of course other groups also across domains to familiarize and disseminate life skills training through specially devised life skill centers and centers of circles of excellence in order to work towards balancing knowledge, skills, and attitude. The Council also plans to explore opportunities to engage with groups and organizations that need assistance for knowledge sharing. We believe that knowledge grows multifold when the expanse of knowledge givers is unlimited and vibrant. The Council envisages to work towards the creation of a network of experts and practitioners in the area of life skills and related domains. This shall not only strengthen the mission of the Council, but shall also allow quick and effective osmosis of the subject matter in different communities of engagement. That apart, the Council shall create ways to engage with the community at various levels, in person or digitally, to aid direct learning and facilitation, and thus effectively engage with the population as friends of hope and resolve, where there is scope for the community to openly share their feelings, feel a sense of belonging, and mutually strengthen each other within the group. We also believe that the purpose of knowledge is to grow and effectively impact the receiver in her journey of evolution. The Council thus brings or plans to bring and encourage and facilitate knowledge sharing within the states of India at national level and even at the global level by ways of engagement through conferences, events, webinars, etc., to equip the knowledge base for a better prepared global society. And last but not the least, we believe that evolving times usher evolving methodologies and systems. And thus it is very, very important to create novel ways of enhancing life skills across all levels, profiles, and sectors. The Council plans to build legit policies in the area and suggest the acceptance and implementation of the same to the Government of India for women empowerment and a better conditioned society. We hope to have the guidance, support, and blessings of prolific experts like the three of you in our journey towards a Sashakt and Atmanirbhar Bharat. This is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, and we are here to support it wholeheartedly. The women who are part of this life skills mission are from across India and have volunteered to selflessly contribute towards nation building. And I, as National President, Life Skills, am extremely proud of my Life Skills Task Force. I lovingly call them my task force because we're not in it for titles. We are here to make a difference. We are in it together, and together we shall make it happen. Jai Hind. Before we commence the panel discussion, we shall play our founder president, Dr. Harbeen Arora's message on this occasion, which she has very lovingly sent for us. Dr. Harbeen Arora is also the founder president. Apart from WICCI, she is the global chairperson of the All Ladies League and the Women Economic Forum, and has been tirelessly working towards women empowerment for many years. Over to her and her message.
Namaste, dear soul sisters, dear esteemed guests who have gathered today for the launch of the National Life Skills Council of WICCI, the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, This council is led by our dear soul sister Kuiljeit, who has been associated with the All Ladies League and the Women Economic Forum, which are really the massive support behind the WICCI for a very long time. And I want to congratulate Kuiljeit for bringing in such an amazing team, in particular the Vice President Sivambiga and all the amazing council members. Life skills is a very important component of employability. As you know, India has a wonderful education system, but where we lack a little bit and where we can improve a lot is in the section of life skills. Let's say engineering, for instance. I mean, India has so many engineers and the world needs engineering skills, IT skills, but just because of some life skills gap, we get left behind. So this is the time to plug in the gap and show the world and showcase to ourselves and everybody in the world that India's got the talent. Here's congratulations to all of you towards a Sashakt and Atmanirbhar Bharat. All the best.
Thank you so much for your wishes, Dr. Harbeen. And yes, we are all set to take it on from here on. We now move to our panel discussion with our esteemed guests on the topic, Life Skills in India, the Past and the Present. I'd like to open the discussion with requesting each one of you to take a minute or so to share your views on the topic. But before that, a little note for the audience. Please key in your questions as we move along, and we will take it up in the end, depending on the time available. And please put the name of the speaker you want to address the question to along with your question, and I shall read it aloud on your behalf. I urge all of you to please not write multiple questions within a question so that we can take more number of questions from a larger group of people. All right, so I'm coming now to the panel. Like I said, I'd like to please open the discussion, requesting each one of you to take a minute or so to share your views on the topic at large, life skills in India, the past and present. Maybe we can start with Dr. Nagpal.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you once again, Dr. Kuiljeit and the esteemed panelists over here. Congratulations to the WICCI Council for taking a fabulous lead in the country. All I have to say in the beginning is we go through a lot of dynamic change in the country as a constitution that we, the people of India, have contributed to a sovereign socialist republic. But then when you look at education, as you said rightly, Dr. Kuiljeit, that began long back after the independence as a social welfare model, right? And then the education took on the developmental model, where we look at an all-round development of a child walking into the portals of education and moving out as a gentleman, gentle lady to take on the world, as we just heard about the necessity of life skills. But what was going a little difficult in the career making, the employability, the success in life, and the stability in life. Now, let me share with you that India has been able to do very good evidence-based research on the fact that mind as a component of good health or well-being or education is extremely important, and no wonder that survival skills, livelihood skills, which were making the bedrock of education for generations, were to be supplemented by something which was missing. Survival skills, livelihood skills were taught to us in the schools, the academic skills, the numeracy skills, and also the skills in being a good sportsman and all the other ones associated. But what was missing out? There's something about not being able to cope up with the day-to-day challenges, the psychosocial competency. I'm so fascinated that the WICCI Council is taking up the adaptability, the psychosocial competency as a huge component of skill building under the Atmanirbhar Bharat and also the WICCI Council. That's where the life skills as a terminology came into existence in India. And it's about 20 years that we need to work hard, taking the models forward under the leadership of Dr. Kuiljeit. Thank you.
Wonderful. What a great start. What a great start. Thank you so much. In any case, we're going to get much deeper as we move along, but that's a great start. Can we have Dr. Dwivedi please share her opinion on the larger perspective of the topic, life skills?
Well, congratulations, first of all. What excited me most about your mail when I got it first was see, life skills have always been there. They're not static. They change with time. They change with the society which one is talking about. And when I got your mail, actually, what was most exciting was that this is a time for very, very rapid change because of the pandemic. We are going to have a new normal. And I'm not really sure how what I was working with were Weaver groups and women's self-help groups, and I was really not sure how they're going to adjust. It's not that these people don't have the resilience to catch on to life skills, they do. But usually the life skills adaptability is a very, very slow process. And the study of it is even slower because you can only study, some proxies as pattern. It's not like you test someone 2 plus 2 is 4. So Mahila Samakhya after say 25 years caused a change of 1 year in the mean age of marriage, and it's a very slow process, and you have to believe that the people down there would be able to do critical thinking, but for each situation there will be a different analysis. So when I saw the WICCI council like come into it, I thought this is the best time possible because everything's going to change, and it's changed very
Right,
rapidly.
right. Thank you so much for your kind words. And that's very encouraging for us also as a council that we have taken the step and we have plunged in at the right time, probably. So I think it's a great way. And yes, your thoughts in terms of this is the time for rapid change. I think that's absolutely, I completely echo that thought with you. Can we have Dr. Bhavani please express her opening statements on the topic?
Yeah. And I would like to first thank you and thanks to the entire team at WICCI for having me at the sync, and congratulations for starting such a wonderful initiative at such perfect time. I echo the thoughts that you have expressed and the other speakers have expressed and how critical this is at this conjuncture. But I also want to also just add a little few reflections to what has already been said. It is true that we had the development model, and I think what we need to do in terms of life skills is to look at a sustainable development model, where we also bring in man's relationship to the environment into the life skills dialogue. And I think this becomes very critical, especially in the light of COVID and just everything, survival, but also with the environment in mind. So because that's so critical to one's survival, and like Madam Trivedi has said, there are just so many components that change, but there are also so many components that don't change in life skills. And it also seems, I think, very, very critical to the success of any program, even though it is so slow moving and hard to really gauge, but it seems to be also directly related to several other factors. The success of the more easier things to measure oftentimes are rooted in life skills, like the vocational training programs that you conduct have their roots, their success of those programs are rooted again back in life skills. And that could be, like she said, in an indirect measure, but definitely a measure of how important life skills are. So yes, very critical. I'm very happy that this conversation is taking the world stage. And yeah, hopefully as a team and I love the idea of circles of excellence. It's small, it is dynamic, and it's emergent, and it's moving. It's perfect. It's better than a center, which is like set in stone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And wonderful thoughts. Yes, absolutely. Sustainable development model. This is definitely a very, very proactive thing that one should be looking at today. In fact, I want to kind of extend this to your question now further, Dr. Bhavani. And maybe we can also highlight, if you can help us, in fact, to identify what do you think would be the key focus areas if we are talking of creating a significant impact for the community at large in this area? What do you think should be the key focus areas?
The key focus areas, I mean, the structure of life skills, it traditionally exists, and in talking about communication, all the things that you already mentioned that are there. But I think what we need to look at two different things about, and allow me to draw from my experience on life skills. The education model that we follow over here is education for life and education for living, and both of them need to come together. And there are three components to this education that we kind of work on. It's a very ancient concept, the concept of Satyam Shivam Sundaram, which is a truth, auspiciousness, and beauty. And this forms almost the foundational principles on which we place our life skills, and everything is kind of structured in and around that. What you call as Satyam is what is the truth, and what is this verifiable truths that you follow, which is anything technical. So even things, that components that are within life skills that are measured, that can be tested, and that can be physically verified, becomes the truth and becomes the science of anything. And that's the Satyam part of it. The Shivam is that that whatever is done and whatever is taught is for the benefit of mankind at large. And I will bring the sustainable development component, not just mankind, but mankind in relationship with nature. And that becomes the Shivam aspect of it, that is the auspiciousness aspect, but it should be for the good of all. The third element, again, very neglected, addressed in silos, but almost never together, is the aspect of beauty and aesthetics. When you, and this is where you have so much of experience and power, is how do you bring out that beauty from inside to the outside. An expression of that beauty is also divine. It brings about perfection, and life skills in its foundation should have components of all these three elements. This is going back to our roots, and I do believe that life skills in traditional days, it was primarily through guilds and craftsmanship, but they had expressions of all these three elements in it. And it's time that we somehow formalize this structure and then put it into life skills. Is my wish and few for the life skills of the future. Yeah.
So beautifully put. So beautifully put. And I loved the Satyam Shivam Sundaram concept that you just shared. And I'm sure the audience also must be like, oh my God, we never even thought that. But it's actually so beautifully carved out. And the whole process, I think, looks more like just, seamless water just flowing if it goes in the right way. And it's a great way to look forward, keeping in mind this, trilogy of sorts, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. A wonderful thought. In fact, I'd like to extend that thought with Dr. Nagpal. And probably we
Yeah,
can also know your thoughts on the importance of life skills. Interestingly, today I believe that the world is in a perennial state of dynamism, and every person
absolutely.
is directly or indirectly, forced to subscribe to the rapidity of changing scenarios. And be it technology or be it concepts or be it ideologies, one notices
Yeah.
the swiftness of change and evolution as part of global scenario. So, do you believe that this dynamism will also reflect as well as probably impact the life skills area? We'd love to know your thoughts on this aspect.
Precisely. I think taking on from where Dr. Bhavani was just mentioning, uh, there's no doubt that we all believe that change is constant. And if COVID-19 is an indicator to adapt to change, which is intense and rapid, I think the onslaught onto the world has been so sudden, intensive, and very, very difficult as an elasticity of human nature. Now, where does this neuroplasticity, as the neuroscientists tell us about life skills? It's basically about being compassionate, competent with effective communication. Where we are lacking now in our country is if we divide, as you said, the 10 core skills which were introduced by WHO long back. The Indian education system adopted that way back in around 2000. The thinking skill, the emotional skill, and the social skills. The three major umbrellas under the 10 core skills. The thought process and the thinking skills were always being given importance in the college, in the schools, and in the workplace also. But the affective or the emotional skills and the social skills were always behind. That's where we were losing out on millions of young people and youth in our country, women and mental health and psychosocial competency, the elderly people, the disabled people, the employable sector. That's where I'm so proud, ma'am, that you've taken up under the umbrella all the age groups of our country, including the special needs population, I think so. And you're looking at life skills as an integrated model, not as a supplement to the existing skills of survival or livelihood. Life skills become the overarching role in anything you do in life in 24 hours rhythm. That's what my belief is. And I think the terminology is the beginning of a great wisdom. And that wisdom lies in whatever we imagine, whatever we think as a nation together in solidarity, in diversity. That's our charm. We believe in diversity, and we are a best example to the world in its core diversity. Here is where life skills will become as a connecting medium, as the thread of bringing in awareness, responsibility, and empowerment. And I repeat, the 10 core life skills are integrated to each other, like empathy, self-awareness, interpersonal skills, coping with stress, and maybe problem solving, critical thinking. They cannot be seen in isolation, but they are largely divided into thinking, emotional, and social skills. It is the right time to become acquainted and internalize, imbibe the tripartite model of life skills, where the effective and the social skills were way behind, especially for the vulnerable populations. And this is the population we need to bring forward. I believe, not because we are at a women's forum, that investment in women's well-being is an investment to the nation. Investment in the child is the investment in the future. investment in the elderly people is an investment for our stability. Intergenerational life skills is what we need at the moment. I'm sure you'll take that into account in your cardinal principles.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I mean, this is again an amazing dimension you just shared with us, spanning
Yeah.
across profiles, spanning
Yeah,
across
it has to be
age
universal.
groups. And yes,
Universal. Yeah.
absolutely. I completely agree. I completely resonate that thought. And I love what you said. It's a connecting medium and cannot be seen in isolation. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what we truly believe, even here at the Life Council. Because if we don't do that, there's no way that you can constructively make a difference to the person. And I remember, I mean, we've been talking of the psychomotor, the affective, or the cognitive skills. And absolutely right, I agree with you. We have always spent time focusing on the cognitive skills of people. We're
Yes.
building that
Yes.
so strongly that somewhere down we've lost track of the affective skills, and that
Social
has
skills.
created
Yeah.
such a
Both.
big gap in one way. But I'm glad that today, I mean, at least there are a lot of people trying to look at it more proactively and moving on that premise. Uh, I'd like to reach out to Dr. Dwivedi now, and I'd like to know, you've been working extensively with women groups and public programs impacting the lives of so many people. What do you believe is the relevance of life skills today, especially in the kind of people you interact with? And how would you compare, let's say, the past and the present of the life skills in India, especially with regard to women, since you engage so much with women?
So, see, life skills are important for any given period, for any given group. It may start basically with women with small micro changes, small changes in, about individual issues. But then it spills on to, can they work as a group? Can they stay together? Is there dignity in work? Is there dignity in life? Are they having an active participation in the community? And after all of this, is there respect for diversity? And then after all of this, are they still making informed decisions? So it was a very interesting question when you said about the past. The past was different. The only program for empowerment of women through life skills and through education was Mahila Samakhya, which closed a few years ago. So it ran for a good 30 odd years. And that was again the only program. In the policy, it said, let the women tell and decide what they want to learn. So let's not go with a top down thing. It's just that you learn to sit together, respect each other, have dignity in your life. So the kind of life skills, the demand which came up, which was the felt need for those groups, was so different from each other. Say some women in Eastern UP just wanted to learn how to repair hand pumps because that improved their quality of life drastically, and that bound the women together. It broke caste barriers because the women who could do it were invited everywhere. Otherwise, it entailed a long walk to get water. So it again translated in Andhra Pradesh into something like a prohibition movement. In Bihar, into something completely different. They wanted to do self-defense training, and they wanted to learn in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they wanted to learn how to ride bicycles. So it was a very important program. So yes, now the change is so much more rapid in the society in which we live. There's so many other influences, but the basic core values of women having dignity and women accepting diversity, I think that's true, and it always would be. So life skills are never really going to go. It's like they'll always be needed. So it's a very relevant period into which in which you're coming in, because there's so many other influences which were not there earlier. Now, like one Bollywood film can change the attitude on so many things. So it can change it for the good as well as for the bad. So a formal program which engages with life skills is, I think, extremely relevant now.
That's so encouraging for all of us at the council. So, two takeaways, broadly speaking, from what you've just said, is definitely dignity of women and diversity. I think this is something that I've made a note of in any case. We'll always be bearing that in mind. I think, and of course, you've spoken of the rapidity in terms of change and how we are going to build processes as we move along, I think is something to be seen. But I think this helps us to at least lay the platform, in terms of what is going to be the base as we move ahead. And, you know, Dr. Bhavani, I was just recalling from whatever all three of you have shared right now. It just took me back to what our father of the nation has been talking, and there's so much, like he's given us knowledge in abundance. But I remember and I recall that Gandhiji believed that education is an all round drawing out of a person, mind, body, and soul. And which typically believes that we're talking of enveloping the mental, the physical, the social, the spiritual, and vocational education, and that touch bases with all aspects of an individual. How do you see life skills in a larger perspective, keeping in mind the new national education policy, which is not only for school education right now, we're talking of also for adult learning, because we are also going to be engaging as a council with adults. So what do you see? How do you see this in this larger perspective of the new education policy? You're muted, Dr. Bhavani. If you can please unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't often keep chat, but occasionally
Never mind,
I
I'll
do.
remind you. That's okay.
um, Yeah, so about the larger perspective and how it could potentially impact new education policy, the framework that I presented, the Satyam Shivam Sundaram framework, I, I I spoke about it as a philosophy, but it can translate itself into actually curriculum development and how you can actually integrate all these three elements into everything that you teach. It's actually something that we're trying at our university, not just in terms of our the curriculum that we're actually offering the tertiary education, but also in the work that we're doing with women across 21 states in the country. And so we have tried to incorporate this kind of a structure into both formal training and the informal training, both vocational and regular schooling, including schools and in college level also. Um, because it's more a philosophy, and you can make sure that the components of this philosophy are expressed in the curriculum development. So that's basically how you can build your pedagogy around it. Uh, Specifically talking about women in rural India and women in more on the vocational side of education, I think we have another framework that we have developed. It's called the Awesome Framework. I believe you're quite familiar with it, but it really goes back into looking at making sure that there are certain basic things that you can cover using life skills. Which offers makes sure that you can build on your the mental space of the women, but also making sure that you have increased access, increased opportunities, and increased awareness. And there's a framework that we use for building our curriculum in life skills that is based on the needs, the vulnerabilities of women in a particular context. It could be in that geographical location. It could be household. It depends on the context. So very contextual life skills that are based on a vulnerability mapping. That's kind of how we develop the curriculum for life skills. And this is something also that I believe it is overarching, but it's also highly contextual. And so it's important to customize life skills to the needs of the context. And how it would I think in terms of education policy, there should be somewhere where in the curriculum from school on, there is components of life skills that you're evaluated for. So the way we do life skill evaluation is that we have usually a project in society. So if you're teaching somebody how to do plumbing or masonry, we make sure that we work with the community so that they come up with a community project and they build on a community project. So something that is basically adds to the when you can give back to society, and that way we kind of evaluate life skills using what you can contribute back to society, and also the artistic component, how much of you. So we use the same framework, but that's really how we actually evaluate life skills in the programs that we run. Comes through as how much you can contribute back to society.
So beautiful. This is so beautiful. And I'm sure as a council, we will be engaging more with you to understand more of what you just said in terms of the vulnerability mapping and, of course, the awesome framework, as you mentioned, which will help to build mental space, the entire mental space area. Uh, you know, apart from you, now I'm going to Dr. Nagpal because he's been so much into education, apart from being expert on the mental health space. As I shared earlier, the WICCI Life Skills Council has moving, or rather is planning to move forward on those 10 life skills as have been defined by the WHO, UNICEF, and the UNESCO. So In fact, the very first point that we have on our 8-point agenda is creating awareness and relevance of these core life skills among the women professionals and aspiring professionals across the sectors. And since you've worked briefly with the WHO, Dr. Nagpal, and have also
Okay.
engaged
Yeah.
with educational bodies like the NCRT and the UGC, we'd like to know your thoughts on how best do you think this can be strengthened, and how we as a council can create content and delivery models such that the skill intervention becomes far more empowered.
Well, I think while you're mentioning this, I'm just reminded of what long back Mark Twain said, that I have not let my schooling interfere with my education.
Ah,
Uh, I think precisely that is where, and also I recall during the making of the national education policy, that famous book, Future Shock by Alvin Toffler, which spoke about that the literate of the 21st century will not be the person with high achievements. It will be the person who is ready to unlearn what has been learned and then relearn it. I think our flexibility, our adaptability, our constantly being able to internalize change as a culture will be the epitome of our life skills. Now, that is the basic philosophy behind the NEP. And let me tell you, as both our esteemed panelists, Dr. Maninder and Dr. Bhavani, have been highlighting, the ability to remain on high self esteem and the ability to make informed choices, to my best understanding, are the two skylines of good life skills. The assertive skills to make informed choices in life, which was a great impossibility under the social stereotypes, whether it is for the girl child in education or the people who are in special needs population. I mean, so this is the right time, the right opportunity, and the lessons learned from the COVID-19 and beyond. That as a culture, when given the freedom, the liberty to be empowered to make your own choices, whether it is in homemaking for a mother, whether it is in societal continuity by the elderly people. So, since you're asking for these models, let me tell you that now the education in the foundation years has been given the utmost importance. We have grossly neglected early childhood in our country. Grossly. I mean, can you imagine 11 lakhs children finishing off per annum in our country? And that has been the data for ages. That's the minimum I'm talking about. So now the national education policy talks about the foundation years. That's where a mother, a father, a teacher actually grow together. The home is now the school, and the school is the parent in the online education. 243 million children undergoing online education. What else we can be proud of as a nation? Well, we do have to knit the life skills between the family and the school. So I think as a WICCI Council, it's a great opportunity, ma'am, to build up partnerships between the families and institutions, whether it is the workplace or the colleges or the schools, and then allow the family, the great Indian family, the composite origin of life skills. Can we not look at the originality of life skills in the great Indian family system? I think countries abroad have adopted this model. Harvard has studied the great Indian family as a modus of life skills. I remember when Professor Gilbert Botwin, the person who coined the term life skills, came to India in 2012, and he spoke to hundreds of thousands of children in the country. He spoke about the great Indian family as a model for life skills. So I would suggest that with such a fabulous beginning that you're making, the not to forget how the roles and responsibility in the great Indian family are actually the epitome of education, the stability and the success at the workplace, and also post-retirement abilities to bring about a change in the culture of our society. So it's a dynamic skyline that is reopening. I'm not saying opening for the first time, as both our speakers mentioned. It is nothing new, but we need to give it a new package where it is an integrated partnership based model with the community, identifying the vulnerable groups which are often left behind, and also give them the power to make informed choices. I mean, in short, this is what would be my immediate vision for it.
wow, that's a wonderful vision, in fact. And yes, I completely agree with you. A family unit, and like you said, the stability that comes to a
Yeah,
person right
yeah.
from the core essence. It's your core essence. Your build up is starting off with your family. And if one can look at that as a unit that can actually take you forward very constructively all through your life, I think you're pretty much set, and you can kind of move forward as a good global citizen ahead. So I think that's a very nice, interesting angle that you have just brought in. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal. I'll move to Dr. Dwivedi. Um, In fact, with your experience with women, again, working with women in rural India, is there any specific segment or community of women workers that come to your mind where we can bring difference to their well-being or their living standards by way of life skills training? And what could be our avenues, if so? Also, having said that, how important a role do you think a policy can play here? And what, in your opinion, on this could be like a national or a state level policy? Do you think there is a scope for that?
I'll begin with your first question when you said, what is the scope of moving in? In fact, the scope of moving in where women are already organized in some form is greater today than it was ever before. We had rural livelihood programs since IRDP, then SGSY. So it's been one program after another, in each trying to kind of correct whatever was the deficiency in the earlier ones. But the one in force right now across the country is you have these women SHGs called Bihan. We call them Bihan here. So they are women self-help groups who sit together, who talk, who may or may not have thrift and credit, and who may be doing economic activity. So typically, when government officers go, they would say, "Tum log, you need to start working, you need to be employed," and that's totally without sensibility that the woman should be able to decide. They may want to just be together for certain for certain needs, and every woman doesn't have to enter the workforce. So it has to be her own personal choice. She should be enabled, and she should be able to take the decision on her own. So it's the places to enter there. There's a lot of place to enter women in our unorganized sector, and they are not as unorganized as they are in the cities where they may be working only in domestic helpers. In the rural area, there's not so much of that engagement, but that's engagement as artisans, as weavers, and even in this within the rural industries, you'll see women. It's a majority of women would have the key role. Usually they're the ancillary workers. And you go to a weaver group and you ask, so there's so many women, why are they only doing ancillary work? It's like nobody's thought of it, that why don't I teach her weaving? And then all of a sudden you find societies where they're only women. So something went right there, and it's a different model. So if you come in with these rural groups, I think that would be absolutely great, because the way the government machinery operates, for everything the answer is get a women self-help group to do it. It's like you're assuming they have nothing else to do, and it's so difficult for a lot of them to finish the household chores, cook, send the kids to school, and they have their ridiculous coded dresses that you turn up in this when there is a function or a VIP coming. So they change, and then they go, and then they have to go back and do the work again. It's not that when the SHG is out that somebody else is doing the work for them. So yes, it's like, your whole idea is like a dream come true. I just wish there was somebody like this working with these groups, and occasionally they'll tell that, they'll answer back to the diktat that, no, we have other things to do. I can't stand there and just be your, I don't know, whatever, props for an event. So there's tremendous place in the policy, but then there has to be a recognition that it should not be top down. Somewhere it should factor in what is the need of the particular group. It will vary from one area to another.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is so wonderful. In fact, we have been, in any case, you've heard the mission. So we are definitely looking forward to be able to collaborate with the government, whatever be it, at policy level, or whether it's driving skill initiatives, because end of the day, the whole purpose and the whole mission is to be able to go right through all levels and all sectors and all profiles so that we can make a difference to every woman sitting in any part of the country. So that's a dream for us. But yes, I think as long as you dare to dream, you'll end up achieving it. So it's a good start, at least for now. So I think the time has come when, though I have many more questions listed out, but I'm looking at the clock as it ticks along. And I think the time has come for me to just request the audience in case they have any questions. And I can read out those questions for all of you. Okay. Question for all three panelists. Okay, so maybe anyone, whoever feels they can take it on. Is there any demarcation and difference, in your opinion, between life skill sets for different age groups, different income strata, or between rural and urban areas? Who would like to take that up? Would you want to do it, Dr. Dwivedi?
Yes, I think I can. It's like Dr. Bhavani mentioned initially that it has to be contextual. So we assume that a more literate woman would be more empowered, but that's not necessarily true. In fact, the highly educated and the well-off women are usually the ones who are least empowered. There is so much of this fear of log kya kahenge. So they take on a lot of exploitation within the family, which a woman in the lower strata won't. So it's very, very contextual. Even within the rural areas, different caste groups, and one part of working with women is that they should breach the caste groups and realize that the problems of the women and the issues with women are basically the same. So there is just not one single fit which goes everywhere. It has to be different.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree completely. Can we take the next
I
question,
just,
please? Oh,
yeah.
okay. Sorry. Yes, Dr. Nagpal, please add to it.
No, I just wanted to add one factor what Dr. Manindra said. While the content of the core life skills, as you rightly said, remains same in terms of an academic exercise, the 10 core skills divided into thinking, effective, and the social skills. But as the human organism grows, for a primary school child, I think saying no to bullying would be an interesting life skill, isn't it? For a peer pressure in the adolescent period, to divide the attention between career choices and relationships or drug abuse is a area which a lot of teenagers get back to, people like us. When a person, say a young woman in her 20s, the career making, the home making, and the movement ahead in terms of social skills. So the model of life skills is a beautiful model that is customized in the context of every decade of life. But whoever takes on the responsibility of taking it forward, I think the age group dynamics in the every decade of life needs to be understood to apply that context. What happens
Absolutely.
during early childhood for a girl child, in the teenage, and what happens in the youth, and then in the middle age, the midlife crisis, all those areas are very important to simultaneously study and have the necessary research in the country incorporated, because we are different in our culture. So every decade of life will have different dynamics of challenges of psychosocial competency. So first we are aware and responsible of those dynamics, and then apply the common model of 10 core life skills to it to become more aware, responsible, and empowered.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Bhavani, do you also want to add something before we take the next question?
No, I think it's been pretty
Okay,
well said by
okay.
both speakers. Yeah, I agree with everything you're
Another
saying.
question to Dr. Nagpal. Life skills has a huge scope of skills, almost everything. How to come to terms of defining the skill sets as part of life skills? So I think she's probably talking of the soft
Yeah,
skills
I
element,
think
I guess.
I assume so. I think it has been very well elaborated by all the panelists, and but still to put it in a very small nutshell, I think the skill set will keep on varying as again the person grows. But just keep it in mind that never think that you can apply empathy in isolation with critical thinking, or you can apply
Mm.
critical thinking in isolation with interpersonal relationships. So the 10 skill model is a fabulous juggle magical model, I feel, and I think. My interaction with thousands of adolescents across the country as part of the new education system has been a great learning experience. I think we are better claimers as good learners, and our youth as our teachers. That then only we are probably true exponents of life skills. So allow that human interaction participatory model wherever you apply life skills as a set, whether it is for soft skills or emotional and coping skills. Please allow the beneficiary to be your teacher. Please allow yourself to be the learner. When you allow the equation to change in that manner, I think we are not only evolving, but you're also taking on such a big life skills responsibility to the next generation.
That is so beautifully said. That is so beautifully said. Wonderful. We have to close this, but I want to have your closing thoughts, all the panelists, please, to have your thoughts on what do you think? What does the future hold in terms of life skills for women in India? And what are the things we really need to keep in mind, keeping specifically women in mind right now? If each one of you could take a minute and have your closing thoughts on this, please. What does the future hold?
Ladies first.
Okay, so I'll have
Okay.
Dr. Bhavani. Dr. Bhavani, can you share? What do you think is the future ahead? in terms of what are the things we need to do?
In terms of what I found was the most critical, I think, just moving forward, and then talking about immediate critical, is for women in terms of life skill, is the technical component of life skills is basically proper handling of technology of every kind. And I think this is something that it's an urgency. And I think how to use technology effectively, how to use it wisely, how to use it safely becomes very critical, especially in COVID situations. Where our dependence on technology has just increased multiple fold, and you know that women actually have far less access to technology, and this something becomes very critical. To even enable life skills training, you need to have access to technology, and you should know how to use it effectively. So I think even before we can think of what we can do, I think this is becomes, I think, almost like it's the first stone that we need to put in place, because it becomes an enabler. It's almost as important as building a school right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is the first component, and I'm sure the other stones will be laid by the other speakers. But the first thing I would
Yeah,
like to
sure.
say.
Dr. Dwivedi, would you want to tell me
Yes.
what you think is the future in terms of life skills?
No,
What do you believe?
Dr. Bhavani's bang on. Technology seems to be the first one, because the new normal, we are not never going to go back to the world which it was pre-COVID. The things which are going to change forever, which are difficult enough for people who are actually well placed and who have who have something to fall back on. It's difficult for them to comprehend, and the vulnerable are going to find it extremely difficult to change. So added with technology, I think it would also be the ability to hold on to their dignity, both at work and in life. It should not be that just because everybody is stressed out, they have to compromise on that. So yes, and I think you really need to get to the field fast.
Right, right. And what are your closing thoughts, Dr. Nagpal?
I think it is very well said by both the speakers. Nonetheless, I think once again it's a moment of pride to be an Indian, and we've inherited a very deep-rooted, very traditionally rich culture for thousands of years. And I think we can claim to be the originators of any skill called life skills. But nonetheless, it is important to repackage it to give it to the 21st century skills. So I believe the model which one can once again think of is the 21st century skills model, which requires an additional, forbearance to the areas which are very challenging to life. My worry has been, as a clinical psychiatrist, the nation which is proud to be a happy nation. We are supposed to be a happy nation. We are, but there are intriguing statistics which are multiplying every decade. Now, every seventh Indian, according to WHO and the government of India, seems to be reeling under mental health disorders, and women are 5 times more prone to it. Children are much higher. But the question is, why? Are we missing out on life skills? So that's my question to myself. So what I can contribute, what you can contribute, what the entire generation now can contribute to life skills is to minimize our difficulties in coping with the change, and our ability to come together in solidarity, celebrate diversity, and bring about a change for a successful nation with a successful human being, and not just children, women, elderly people, and men. It's about every human being not left behind. We all take together with life skills. And that's my only dream, I thought. And I think you are helping, WICCI Council is helping to materialize that dream. Thank you.
That's so kind. So, in short, to just wrap up your final thoughts, we've spoken of a technical component as being extremely important. Technology has to be a support system going forward, and we need to equip ourselves with that. Keeping in mind, of course, the dignity at work and in life, as Dr. Dwivedi mentioned. And of course, we're looking at the 21st century model being extremely holistic, where we're talking of diversity, we're talking of enhancement of everybody, empowerment for sure, but building a proper structure so that we can take it forward in the right dimension. This has been such an amazing session, so enriching for all of us. And I would really love this, personally speaking, to just go on and keep learning more and more from experts and social contributors like the three of you. But as much as I would love to have this session going in this manner, sadly, all good things do come to an end, and we shall have to close the panel discussion now. However, the launch is incomplete without me introducing my amazing task force, the National Council of Life Skills, who are my strength and the pillars of the system. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me very proudly introduce you to my team. Can we have that video, please? Team Impact, can we have the video, please?
Hi, my name is Dr. Asta Sachdeva. I'm a counseling psychologist working to help people heal themselves. I'm very happy to be associated with the WICCI Life Skills Council and look forward to contributing towards the common cause.
Namaste. I'm Nivedita Tiwari, an HR business partner and a life coach. I'm thrilled to be a part of WICCI Life Skills National Council. Looking forward to create a massive impact collectively. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kuiljeit Uppaal, founder and managing director, Impact PR. I'm delighted to be the National Council member with WICCI Life Skills Council, looking forward to meaningful contribution for the welfare of the society.
Hi everyone, I'm Purva Jagga, a Senior Vice President with Primus Partners, a boutique consulting firm. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of this council with a remarkable vision and mission. I'm totally looking forward to be able to contribute back to the community and for the betterment of our women across spheres, across ages.
Namaste, myself Dr. Shubhalakshmi Acharya, founder and behavioral scientist at Mind Elements. Glad to be a National Council member at WICCI Life Skills Council. It's always a privilege and an honor to contribute towards nation building and see India shining. Jai Hind.
Hi, I'm Dr. Yogita Dalia, a social thinker and an entrepreneur. ICSSR postdoctorate, a fellow professor in management at Galbag Educational Institute, deemed University, Agra. I'm extremely enthusiastic to take this mission forward. Looking forward. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. My name is Dipali Nirula. I'm a life coach, a speaker, and an entrepreneur from Delhi. I'm extremely delighted to be a part of the WICCI Life Skills National Council to support the system for women to progress and to thrive. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Rajshri on this side. I am a social activist and an educationist by profession, and I am looking forward to give my best effort in WICCI Life Skill Council. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Veena, Director at Merck Life Sciences. I look forward to be part of the WICCI group and contribute to the common good.
Hi, I'm Anu Vaklu. I'm a leadership coach and a facilitator. Being on the WICCI Life Skill Council provides me with a wonderful opportunity to contribute to the holistic development of girls and women in our nation. Happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Kamna Tribal. I'm a clinical psychologist and I head the Department of Mental Health and Behavioral Sciences at Fortis Healthcare. I'm looking forward to working towards equipping and empowering women with critical life skills through the work we would be doing by the medium of the WICCI Life Skills Council.
Hello, I'm Sukanya, Human Resources and Learning and Development Professional, working as a learning head of a US multinational. I'm very glad to be part of WICCI Life Skills Council, very eager to contribute to the cause of well-being of women through teaching, training, coaching them on life skills. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Rosalind Mahanti, a business consultant and a life coach. I'm delighted to be a part of this mission and looking forward to impact many lives through WICCI.
Delighted to be part of WICCI National Life Skills Council. I aspire to help women harness their potential and capabilities for the overall benefit of the society. Hi, I'm Aruna Singh, chairperson of Wings for My Dreams and president of an NGO, Together We Can.
Hi, I'm Dr. Savita Date. I'm a clinical psychologist. I have worked many years with Tata Steel and with the Apollo Hospitals Group. I'm very happy to be associated with WICCI and contribute towards the greater good of womankind. Thank you.
Hi, this is Purnima Kamble, partner Fox Mandal and Associates, a leading law firm of the country. It is indeed an honor to be a National Council member of WICCI Life Skills Council. With my legal experience and expertise, I hope to contribute meaningfully in furthering the commitments of WICCI Life Skills Council. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka Ravichanda. I'm a policy and infrastructure consultant, having been engaged directly with very many state and central government initiatives. I'm really excited to be a National Council member on the WICCI Life Skills Council to help women across the country.
Hi, this is Tanvi Kaur. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and proudly an empowered woman. I look forward to working as a National Council member with WICCI and aiding them in their vision and mission towards empowering women in our country.
Hi, my name is Shweta Mohapatra. I'm an HR professional, an executive coach, and a researcher. And I'm truly excited to be a part of WICCI as a National Council member in the Life Skills program, because I believe this program is going to make a huge difference in the way women thrive and succeed in the society today.
Hi everybody, this is Dr. Sandhya Anvekar, Program Head Skilling, working for Government of Karnataka in the Department of IIT Science and Technology. I'm very delighted to be on National Council of WICCI because the kind of experience, exposure and expertise I have in skilling, I'm very sure that WICCI is going to provide a platform where it will be reaching out to many women who will be associated with WICCI. Together we are going to make lots of difference in life skill sector. And that's why I wish all of us here very good luck and best wishes, and together we rock. Thank you.
Truly amazing answer. And now let me introduce you to my Rock of Gibraltar, the National Vice President, Sivambiga Athiana, Director, Allies and Partner, an international consulting firm, and a highly experienced international HR professional who has closely aligned her work with emotional intelligence. May I request Sivambiga to please present the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuiljeit. I immensely thank Dr. Maninder Kaur Dwivedi, Dr. Jitender Nagpal, Dr. Bhavani Rao. Despite your tight schedules, you've invested your time with us for WICCI Life Skills in discussion with Dr. Kuiljeit, which shall help us to steer ahead with more confidence and clarity. Thank you to all of you so much. I thank Dr. Kuiljeit, our National President, for creating this powerful and enriching life skills and for this awesome evening for a great start ahead. I thank the National Council and the State Council teams and all the members across India of WICCI Life Skills sector. I would like to thank Kulpreet Freddy and her team, Impact Public Relations, for this absolute media partnering. And most importantly, my heartfelt thanks from all of us goes to all of you viewers there as our audiences. Please continue to keep engaging with us on our FB page, all the other social handles that we have, and please stay connected with us. Thank you so much for this wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all of you. Jai Hind.